I think this is Coach Dave and Accordion Cool, because you see, my sign is not here today. Guess who forgot that? You see, we have a special stand for the piano today. Guess who forgot the other one? And the bass is different today. Why? Because guess who forgot the cord that connects the bass? But except for that, you know, we might even get through the show. All right, well, we got through the first song anyway. If I can remember the rest of them, we'll be all set. Today's show, we're going to be playing the blues. Now, the blues is truly an American type of music. It actually started, a lot of it, with the slaves way back in the mid 1800s. They'd be in the field and they'd sing out to each other, and that's kind of how they communicate. And then, of course, from there it just evolved pretty much first into jazz, that type of thing, and then it evolved into country music, some rock and roll. So what I'm going to do today is just kind of play a whole bunch of different blues type songs. All right. Now, blues basically it's only what we call 12 bars. What's a bar, you say? Well, it's where you get it. No, you say, no. Every song has bars or measures. Now, the standard is every song has 32 measures or 32 bars. Well, we're going to be talking today about the 12-bar blues. So every 12 bars, it starts all over again. So obviously, some of the songs today may be a little bit shorter than you're used to hearing, but how many times can you play the same? Well, anyway. So that first song was called In the Mood. Again, based on the 12-bar blues. Glenn Miller, 1939, had a big hit on that song. Now, in 1914, a fellow named W.C. Handy wrote a song called the St. Louis Blues. And The neat thing about this song is even if you're not a jazz player, the melody that he wrote is almost, like playing a jazz tune. So 1914, W.C. Handy, St. Louis Blues. And couple of little spots like at the beginning are just like a play on the blues, and then you get into the blues. Well, you'll hear it. So here we go. W.C. Handy, St. Louis. But that was probably one of the first blues songs that was actually written with music and words, so to speak. It's a lot of the other blues, okay, 12-bar blues in F or B flat or C or whatever, and they just play. And sometimes, a few of the chords were a little different. They'd be the blues chord or the blues chords, but just little different variations on them. Well, like I mentioned earlier, when it sort of seeped over a little bit into rock and roll, especially 50s rock and roll. Now, there's a fellow, wasn't known that well. I can never remember his name. He came from Memphis. He lived in Memphis, had a big house in Memphis. They call him the king of rock and roll. Elvis, that was his name. Most of Elvis's songs were either blues or based on the blues. So I'm going to do a real quick Elvis medley. See if you recognize these songs. So they're all based on the blues. So here we go. Okay, little Elvis medley, but all based on the blues. Of course, if you didn't recognize it on accordion, the first one was Blue Suede Shoes, and then Don't Be Cruel, and of course Hound Dog. Now, Hound Dog was originally sung and recorded by a blues singer called Big Mama Thornton. Now, Elvis heard that and said, oh, I got to record that song. Of course, he had the big hit, and as with a lot of the things. So, all right, so there's blues in relation to like 1950s rock and roll. 1941, singing group, three ladies called the Andrews Sisters. They had a lot of big hits. It was wartime. They were very popular. They entertained the troops. And this one is called The Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Company C. And again, World War II song. And another one that's actually got a melody written and words that go along, and lyrics that go along with it. And of course, you notice the bass, the walking bass that we have over here, that goes with almost any of the blues stuff. So, little boogie woogie boogle boy, here we go. And again, with that song, it wasn't much added to it. It's just kind of the basic blues progression. However, it was expanded into the format of a regular pop. I washed my mouth this morning. I can't do a thing with a popular song. So, Andrew Sisters, 1941. Well, this one came from 1959. Several recordings were done of this, but fella that had the biggest hit was a fellow named Wilbert Harrison. Now, I don't know much about Wilbert Harrison. I think he was kind of a country blues gospel singer. And like I said, a lot of people recorded this song, and it's about a little city right smack in the middle of our country called Kansas City. So Wilbert Harrison's version, maybe Coach Dave's version of, well, you know what I'm saying. Little Kansas City, and we'll start off with, again, the boogie bass. So here we go. Kansas City, Wilbert Harrison, 1959. Well, you know, again, I mentioned earlier, some of this jazz blues seeped over into country music, especially traditional country music, not some of the stuff they're trotting out today. Now, sort of like the grandfather of all country music, a fellow named Hank Williams. Hank Williams, you know, played guitar, well, strummed 3 or 4 chords, and but mostly, you know, he was a vocalist in the late 40s, early 50s. Unfortunately, he died very young. He died at 29 years old. I think he was known to have, shall we say, put some strange things into his body, and it caught up with him. Now, Hank Williams had, I believe the number is correct, 36 #1 songs, 6 of them after his death. So he was truly the grandfather of country music. Now, way back then in the late 40s, early 50s, when you listened to the radio, you didn't listen to a rock station, you didn't listen to a country station. Everything was on one station. You hear Hank Williams doing a country tune. You'd hear Sinatra doing, you know, one of his tunes. You hear Elvis doing, you know. So everything was on one station, or every station had all the music, is what I'm trying to say. So this was one of Hank Williams' biggest hits. Remember my mother and my aunts, when I was just a wee lad, singing this song all the time. It's called "You're Cheatin' Hard." Now, in the country version of the blues, it's not 12 bars, but it's all the blues chords, and there's one extra chord. See if you hear it, that they always put into a country song. So here we go. You're cheating hard, Hank Williams. Well, several years ago, we were in Alabama, and we were actually heading for Hank Williams' birthplace, toward the house and everything. And so I'm driving the motorhome, and Miss Ernestine's driving my big van behind me. And we came to an intersection, and I went through, and I'm driving along at the top of the next hill, and I look, well, where is she? Well, she was stopped at the intersection. Well, come to find out, the light had changed to red, and she didn't notice it, and there was a police officer sitting right there. So he pulled her over, and she was so upset, and he finally said, "Lady, just go. However, we never did get to Hank Williams' home on that day, and not for any day since. But next time we're in Alabama, maybe we'll try to make a point of going there. Well, we're getting down towards the end of our time now, and our last tune, written by a fellow named Bobby Troup. Bobby Troup was a piano player, jazz piano player, vocalist, actor, TV actor, and he was married to Julie London. I mean, come on. But in 1946, he took his family on a trip. Now, you can get on a road in Chicago and go all the way to L.A. It's called Route 66. So he wrote a song. We've been on Route 66. It's just a road. We're on Route 66 in Texas. But Bobby Troup wrote the song, and it's become a jazz classic, getting his kicks on Route 66. So here we go. Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little trip down memory lane through the tradition of the blues and how it's affected so many other genres. That's a big word for me to say. Genres of music throughout this country and throughout the world. Really, an American traditional music. We all started it here. Not we all, you all, them all, somebody's all. So I thank you all again for watching and listening, however you get our show. And of course, the man behind the glass, Austin, who, as usual, I probably drove him nuts before we started because I didn't have all this stuff here that I needed. But he came through, he found a table for the piano, and we worked it all out. So we're going to take it home. Let's just go out on Route 66. I think we can find it somewhere.